And Oklahoma is a unique space in terms of the number of African-American towns that were established. Some suggest upwards of 50 African-American towns. Between 1924 and 1928, Reverend S.S. Jones was going around documenting this sort of self-determined, vibrant African-American communities. You see the African-American educators, doctors, lawyers, landowners, oil barons. And I think that's what's so remarkable about this footage. To think that individuals, how many years out of slavery, are now owning oil wells that are producing 2,000 barrels a day. Is that not the ultimate American dream? Is that not the ultimate American story? It flies in the face of what I think some people consider part of African-American history and culture. And I think that was one of the things that Oklahoma and what S.S. Jones is really kind of showing is that African-American history and culture is not a monolith. And in a way, it became kind of like a marketing tool to encourage individuals to migrate, to move there, that this is a place where you can live, you can thrive, and peacefully reside. There were still palpable racial tensions. There are lynchings, there's Jim Crow, segregation, there's all of these things, and you still have an African-American community or many communities that really speak to the fortitude and resilience of Black people in this country.
On behalf of Akuno Senko for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope, H-O-P-E, we're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know. Every day, one step at a time, man. We gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Yeah. Sometimes I practice focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate and seeking knowledge, make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
The son of a Virginia plantation owner and slave mother, John Mercer Langston attended school in Ohio, earning his bachelor's and master's degrees from Oberlin College. In 1855, Langston became township clerk of Brown Helm, Ohio, making him one of the first Black men elected to public office. During the Civil War, Langston was responsible for the formation of the 127th Colored Ohio Volunteer Infantry and recruited regiments for the Union Army. After making significant contributions at Howard University and Virginia State University, John Mercer Langston became a U.S. Congressman representing the state of Virginia.
Langston, Oklahoma, and John Mercer Langston. Langston, Oklahoma was founded in 1890 during a time when Black Americans were determined to build their own towns, their own schools, and their own future, free from racism and white control. It was named after John Mercer Langston, a man who symbolized Black excellence, leadership, and progress. John Mercer Langston was born free in 1829 in Virginia, a rare thing in those days. He went on to become a lawyer, an educator, a politician, and a champion for civil rights. He helped found Howard University's law school, served as its first dean, and later became the first congressman from Virginia. He wasn't just successful, he was a symbol of what Black people could achieve with education, unity, and determination. Naming the town after him was also a bold statement. Langston would be a place where Black people could govern themselves, own land, build businesses, and educate their children. The man behind the town's creation was Edward P. McCabe, who had a vision for an all-Black city in Oklahoma Territory. McCabe believed that if Black people had their own land and government, they could protect themselves and thrive. Langston quickly became a safe haven. Black families came from all over the country, farmers, teachers, businessmen, ministers, and leaders who were tired of the Jim Crow laws and violence they faced in the South. Just 7 years after Langston was founded, the people established Langston University in 1897. It became, and still is, Oklahoma's only historically Black college and university. It was a place where Black students could get a higher education at a time when most colleges and universities refused to admit them. The founding of Langston came at a time when Black excellence was rising across the country. Booker T. Washington was building the Tuskegee. Madam C.J. Walker was laying the foundation for her business empire. W.E. Du Bois was challenging the world with his writing on race and equality. Langston, Oklahoma was part of the same spirit, proof that even when the odds were stacked against them, Black people could build greatness anyway. More than 130 years later, Langston stands as a living legacy on John Mercer Langston's dream of Black self-determination, education, and pride.
Langston University is Oklahoma's first and only HBCU with nearly 3,000 students across its 3 campuses in Oklahoma and with 40 undergrad and graduate degree programs.
And we're named after John Mercer Langston. A lot of people ask if we were named after Langston Hughes. No. Langston Hughes, this is Langston Hughes' uncle.
Dr. Lynn Simpson is the Dean and Director of Libraries at Langston University.
Our 1921 yearbook, and these are some of the original buildings. And this was the first building at Langston University, this Presbyterian church.
She says what you see here today is the culmination of hard work and the dreams of former slaves and their children.
Tell me about Langston University, how it all started.
It's an interesting story to think about the Black Town movement in the state of Oklahoma. Langston is a part of that movement. Langston University came about because the people in the town of Langston who came here, you have to think about the time period. It was pre-statehood. They were either former slaves or one generation from being former slaves. They came to the state of Oklahoma because Oklahoma had the great prospect of African Americans being able to own property.
But she says owning property wasn't enough. Those who settled in Langston wanted more for their children in education. And in 1892, Langston citizens went before the Oklahoma Industrial School and College Commission petitioning for Langston to have a college.
Their children were not allowed to go to the white universities, colleges in the state. And so they said, what do we have to do to make it so that our children have a place to go?
Their efforts would pay off a few years later when the governor of the Oklahoma Territory proposed a reform bill establishing the university. It was founded as a land-grant college through the Morrill Act of 1890 and officially established through House Bill 151. March 12, 1897, named the Colored Agricultural and Normal University. But the state wouldn't make it easy. One roadblock was a requirement that citizens had to raise the money to buy the land where the university would be.
But they sold baked goods like pies and cakes. They had to work with each other and say, okay, I'll give this much of my property or that much of my property.
And within a year, they managed to buy the land, and the school opened in September of 1898, starting out with about 41 students. Over time, the university has gone through some name changes and adapted with the times to prepare its students for the workforce, something those settlers in one of Oklahoma's earliest and remaining Black towns envisioned over a century ago.